get one of these, Gordon?
Wait a minute. No, I didn't. I didn't.
Did you get one, Randy?
I did not.
Thank you. Would you like one?
Yes, sir, I would. Thank you.
Okay, if everybody's ready, we'll get started with this work session with the school board, and just a couple of comments prior to them kind of taking the floor. I know I speak for council, Mr. Tillett, and the vice chairman of the school board, I think. We just want to thank you for the work that you've done. I think the relationship between both ends of the hall is just, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And we appreciate that. We appreciate all the work that's, I know there's some school board members listening, and this certainly includes them as well. Just the way you got our children back in school, it's, you know, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. We really appreciate that. We appreciate, the community appreciates that. So thank you very much. Anybody else want to make a comment about that, or we'll just move on?
I certainly agree with that. This has been an outstanding relationship between council and school board, and we just really appreciate that.
Okay, Mr. Superintendent, we're ready to hear from you.
Wonderful. Well, Mr. Mayor and members of council, Mr. Wheeler, I really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you tonight about something that I like to talk about, and that's schools. It's always a risk when you give a superintendent a microphone and ask him to talk about his schools. But I got a directive from the mayor this week. He asked me if I knew what FAST meant. Isn't that right, Mr. Mayor?
He certainly doesn't.
I'm going to be as brief as I can, but I could talk all day about schools, all evening. I love schools. I've been in school my whole life. But I have to say, this is the most unusual school year I've ever experienced on a lot of levels. So we're going to talk a little bit about school in a pandemic and some of the things we've done. And again, I will be brief. But the first thing I do want to say is it would be impossible to do what Poquoson Schools has accomplished this year without your help. And as the mayor said and the vice mayor said, as we came in, this relationship with Poquoson City Council and Poquoson School Board and our administration is the best there is. I don't know. I've been in this business about 30 years, and I don't know of a better relationship between two governing bodies than just here in Poquoson. And the beneficiary of that relationship is our children and their family. I've been in situations in a past world where sometimes that relationship wasn't always solid, and nobody benefits. So this is extraordinary, and I just can't thank you enough. And I know Vice Chair Sheeler will second that in her comments tonight. This relationship is as good as it gets. Along with that, as you all know, you shared with us a portion of your federal money that came to you folks earlier in the year, and that enabled us to do an incredible amount of renovation in our buildings to make it COVID ready so that we could bring our kids back. We also received some state CARES funding, and I won't read all these totals to you. You all know those numbers. They're in your budget, and we are expecting another round of COVID money that we're receiving early summer to continue this work, educating kids in a pandemic. I won't, again, belabor you with the laundry list of things, but some of these items are very expensive. We couldn't have kids in the gym, for example, without moving air. And so you all, with your support and allotment of federal funds, were able to put air conditioning in that gymnasium that's been talked about, I'm told, for a lot of years. We also were able to buy a brand new bus, and they're not inexpensive, but in order to transport kids with the social distancing rules, we were able to purchase a brand new school bus. We put in touchless faucets and flush valves so our kids didn't have to touch the laboratories and sinks as they exercise good hygiene during that time. We bought cameras and streaming technology. High school teachers, secondary teachers can deliver instruction to kids sitting at home in a virtual environment while they have kids in front of them in-person learning. We bought special carts and coolers for our food services. As you know, with federal funding, we've been able to feed every child every day for free. So that's something that our community has taken advantage of, and we're thankful for that, but it required us to have some special tools to sanitation sprayers and supplies, PPE, and additional teachers for our expanded summer program that I'll talk briefly about tonight. But the success story is we were one of the divisions to start school with kids in the building on the first day of school. When all around us, all and heard from a lot of school divisions that were starting fully virtual. We actually had our pre-K through third grade in school, and all of our teachers teaching from our buildings on the first day of school. And then, of course, about a month later, we transitioned the rest of our elementary school in, and you can see as we engaged that transition model, about the first semester, we had all of our kids here learning a hybrid model because, as you know, with the social distancing requirements, we could only put half of the classroom at the time. When that changed, the guidance changed right around February, and we quickly toggled to 4-day model, and now we have all of our students chose in-person learning in school 4 days a week. Done that very successfully with no indication of spread of COVID in our buildings. As I said, to repeat, the teachers, whether they were teaching virtually or in person, reported to school and have on the first day and out of our buildings every day. These mitigation strategies that we alluded to, contact tracing, for example, which we do extremely well. Dr. Ashley Ryer leads that for us. And our whole team, principals and assistant principals and central office staff, are continually monitoring any cases of COVID and then mitigating those cases immediately to prevent the spread. There's been right at 68 positive cases of individual staff in our buildings. We publish that every day, but no indication of spread from those individuals throughout the building, which I think is extraordinary. And of course, you know, our board voted early in the year when a lot of boards around were a little concerned about athletics. Our board, in a very visionary way, said, let's participate. Our kids need something productive doing. And of course, our kids have done very, very well. Friday night, we all had the opportunity to watch our field hockey team win the state championship right here on our field. Our wrestling team earlier in the year, in the 4th year in a row, won the state championship. Our football team, our regional champions, played a tough game on Saturday, and our volleyball team last Tuesday, hard-fought game in the regional championship there. 5 of our Poquoson High School students were selected for All Virginia Chorus and All Virginia Band, which is a very high honor and very competitive. 3 Odyssey of the Mind teams advanced to the virtual World Finals. They're in process of competition as we speak. And Poquoson High School was recognized as a WISE Blue Ribbon School, as only 74 high schools in the whole country. I'll say that again, only 74 high schools in the whole country. Incredible. We heard from the community through survey data last year that kids didn't know enough about personal finance. They needed some more training in that. So our folks rallied training modules on how students should learn how to manage finances. They took a competitive exam that was nationally normed and scored top 80% in the nation. We've been celebrating our kids. This slide could go on and on and on and on. Especially during this time, we had all kinds of ways to say, you guys are doing a great job, keep it up. Our little fellas get awesome work awards at the primary school, and our elementary folks get positive office referrals. They get a referral to go to the office. great job today on your work. A lot of ways to tell these kids how well they're doing. Our eighth graders, alarming, an increased number of kids being accepted into Aviation Academy. When we couldn't have homecoming, we had a virtual homecoming court. So we've done a lot of new and innovative ways to celebrate our kids and their successes. And again, this slide could go on for days. Last year's graduating class, and this is a snapshot. We don't have this data yet for this year. I expect it to be similar. But our kids earned about 170 graduates last year, earned over $2.5 million worth of scholarships. That's incredible. And that's from their performance, hard work, and of course the hard work from their teachers and families. They logged over 10,000 hours of community service here in the community and surrounding areas, and 88% earned advanced diplomas. That would put us in the top few in the state. 100% were accepted to some college, 2 or 4 year beyond high school, and 88% of our students from last year's graduating class attended college. And those numbers are truly extraordinary. 7%, of course, entered the military. Proud of that. We have a great relationship with the military in Poquoson schools. Our Teachers of the Year, we're very proud of these folks. They're selected best of the best. You can see Miss Crystal Sizemore, who is our Division Teacher of the Year and also represents Poquoson Primary School, and Miss Dory Holder is Elementary School Teacher of the Year. Miss Amanda Coyne, who's the counselor at Poquoson Middle, and Jennifer Herndon is our Poquoson High School Teacher of the Year. Looking ahead, and these are just some budget snapshots. These are the things that affect the budget that you all have, that you're considering. We have seen enrollment fluctuations, which is always a challenge. We lost out 53 students, and that doesn't sound like a number, but to a division of 2,100 students, 50 kids, that's significant and has a budget impact. And then, of course, the state funding formulas that you all are well aware of. They offer a pay raise and then tell you they're going to fund 67% of that. So the rest of that money comes from somewhere, and it comes from your hard work. And then, of course, you all committed to help us maintain competitive salaries. Your budget, in support of our budget, supports a 5% compensation increase. And all of the magic that happens because of the incredible dedication and hard work of the staff here in Poquoson. We have seen a minimum wage increase required by the General Assembly, $11 per hour, which also affects our budget, and of course no change in the health and dental. Thankful for that. Appreciative. This is just the budget in a snapshot of just over $24 million. And the part that you will always see is the vast majority of that goes directly in the classroom. We're paying classroom activity, teachers, and the magic happens there. And it's over 73%. So our next steps, I have been asked often, and we presented at our school board meeting last week. We are planning next year for regular school. Plan 5 days a week, all day, using the pre-COVID bell schedules. We will tweak those a bit, but they will, in general, be full-time, regular, traditional school, starting in the fall on the first day, September the 7th. We will be exercising all of the recommended mitigation from the Department of Health and the CDC of social distancing, whatever that turns out to be at the time. And we are planning to offer a virtual option to students who need it for some medical reason, that we will contract with Virtual Virginia. Our will not be delivering that virtual. Our teachers will be teaching traditional school. I can't begin to thank you enough for your support in helping us maintain a competitive
Did it.
Okay, thank you.
Artie, something I was interested in, you and I were talking today is your summer school program. Could you comment on that a little bit?
Love to, and I thank you for reminding me, Mr. Mayor. We're changing summer school. Summer school has historically been for students who really struggle and need another semester, condensed semester of learning. We're building, as we speak, a summer academy that will be available to all of our students. Now, certainly we will target students who have seen significant learning loss during COVID, during this past year. And we'll be doing that in a very intentional way. If a kid is struggling with a reading concepts, we will be addressing that specifically. If a kid is struggling in mathematics, we'll be addressing that specifically. But we're also going to be building all kinds of engaging enrichment activities for kids. So every kid should consider Summer Academy. A 5-week program starting in July. We'll run through the first week of August. So it'll give kids a little break right at the end of the school year, and then give them another break at the end of the Summer Academy. But it'll be a 5 weeks, half-day intensive program that will include enrichment activities, Innovation Academy work with a partnership with an outside group, as well as our own best teachers. We've used some of the CARES funding to really recruit and compensate our best teachers to provide a meaningful, engaging, and robust summer program for not just those kids that struggle. Thank you for reminding me about that,
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Any questions of Superintendent from anybody?
In person. We are going to offer a virtual component for a student who may have medical needs that contract out, but we are, our in-person program, our internal program is going to be face-to-face in person. Amen. Get rid of these two at this point.
Any other questions, anybody? Sure. Michelle, do you have any comment?
The only comment that I have is on behalf of the board, I want to say how much we appreciate working with the council, working with us, making the things possible that we've been able to achieve. An incredible alliance, and we all appreciate that. Gary Carter would have been here, but he is working on an accreditation project. The man has I didn't even know about accrediting a college up in Minnesota, as a matter of fact. So, but I'm looking forward so much to the auditoria, which I think will be a benefit for the whole town. That's very exciting, and the teachers being the beneficiaries of the raise just really warms my heart. It's a very, very good thing. As difficult as it has been for this past, really nice thing to be able to do that, to be consistent with other schools in the area. So thank you so much.
We certainly thank the school board and all the hard work that you've done. Certainly all of your staff has responded to this COVID problem, and you've responded well. Randy had some figures that he gave me the other day, placeholders that you were giving me about COVID shots. I didn't bring it with me, but I think it's important that we maybe tell the public and the school system that.
Sure, I'll be pleased to. I happen to have the modern version, the updated version right here. I don't know that everybody knows this, but, you know, just as we have been partnering with the city of Hampton to provide vaccination clinics to support our citizens and our essential employees as we went through the 1A, 1B, 1C, and now general vaccination. But the school system were there with us as a partner all the way along. They assisted by providing school nurses as vaccinators and school staff to assist with scheduling and to help the people as they came in to the building itself, to direct them and to support them. So we could not have been as successful as we have been without that. And when you take all of that and you look at our community, I was going to speak to it later, but it's good to speak to it now. According to the statistics from the health department today, through today, 55% of our folks in Poquoson age 16 and older have now received at least a first vaccination. And in addition to that are those persons that are vaccinated by the Veterans Administration or the Department of Defense. So in our community, you can think that that's probably a significant number on top of that. We wish we had that number that we could apply, but we know it's out there. So we have done very well. General vaccination is what the eligibility criteria is now. If you are 16 and older and interested in getting a vaccination, you don't have to pre-register anymore. You can just register. And there are plenty of opportunities in both the big clinics, but also the small clinics, as well as our drugstore here in Poquoson that's providing vaccinations. So at the time where we needed all hands on deck, the schools were 100% partner with us on that and still are to this day. And as we move towards getting all of the appointments filled and translating the early interest into continuing interest by those that have not been vaccinated yet, we will be working with schools on that as well. To talk about it, and I know that the health department is talking about plans to focus vaccinations on those folks 16 and older, 16 to 18 that desire to get a shot, as well as they're beginning the pre-planning for 12 to 16. And they're in the early stages of that, but they want to be ready if and when those approvals are.
All right, sir, thank you very much. All right, any other questions of the superintendent? Okay, if not, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mayor, Tanya would like to update you on just a couple of what I would consider minor changes to the budget.
Yes, sir.
If you've got a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
Tanya, you ready to go?
I am. I'm just trying to enlarge it so that our viewers at home can see a better screenshot of what we're reviewing here today. So in your package for work session, we just have some minor changes that we like to present to you for the budget, for the FY22 budget. We have $129,800 in revenue. That comes from a couple sources. One is we found additional money in general property taxes. That's due to our estimate that we had with our actual exemptions. I had estimated a little bit higher, and the Commissioner of Revenue provided me the actual number, as well as some grants that we're going to reflect in state and federal revenue. So with the general property taxes, if you go over to your expenditure side, and my apologies, I didn't realize that box was showing up there. We have 3 categories in which we are recommending to use the additional funding. One is for professional services for fire. This was left out of the budget by ERA. This is for our EMS services that we provide for our ambulance service. So we have the revenue side that we collect, and then of course there's the fee that we pay EMS billing for it. As well as we got the final billing for Hampton Roads Planning Districts, an additional $629. And the difference is just dropped into our contingency for non-departmental. For our grants, typically each year I bring to you an appropriation when we're awarded the grants. The city manager requested we do it just a little bit different, so this way it gives departments the ability to spend as soon as they're awarded. So we have the DMV grants, which is for the police department. That's overtime driven, so that's when they're out there making sure there's nobody drinking and nobody speeding, as well as our 4 for Life for the fire department, our fire fund grant, and then, of course, a couple other performance grants that we get. These are grants that we get every year. It just makes sense to go ahead and put them in the budget at the beginning. Do y'all have any questions?
Questions of Tanya?
Now, for the rest of the funds, they remain unchanged, so this is only in the general fund.
Tanya, we appreciate it, and congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
That's all we have for work session,
Okay.
sir. Adjourn for 5 minutes.